Yo, welcome back. Welcome back to another video. Let me just set something up on my side. Um, Thanks to everybody that's in here right now. Yeah, wait. Let me, okay. I don't need to worry. We'll go back to that one. I don't think we even, just give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, okay. I don't think any of my devices were even watching that last video. So I just want to go to the last video real quick and just give it a few likes. We'll go back and like it. But anyways, anyways, we on this video. So we got that actually kind of looks good. But we're gonna watch 15 games you won't believe are 15 years old.
You ever have a clip you just want to share with your friends? You can't go back in the game and the replay's gone forever. Outplayed has one.
That's cool.
Today we're taking a quick trip down memory lane and talking about 10 games that you would not believe are actually 15 years old. Whether it's for graphics or gameplay features or just the time and place. If you've been playing games for a while, some of these might catch you by surprise that they're 15 years old. We got 10 games, so let's get started off with number 10 and talk about Far Cry 2. Yes, Far Cry 2 is now officially kind of old. It actually released in 2008, and it was the big deal follow-up to the original Far Cry. This is before the Far Cry games became what they are today. Kind of the
this is actually
games where you kind of know what to expect.
10 years old.
Far Cry 2 really was ahead of its time in a lot of gameplay concepts. The level of challenge, the level of thought really required and really put into the game.
Oh no, it's 15. Sorry,
those really cool fire effects where fire would spread and things would actually burn realistically. To this day, a lot of people still think Far Cry 2 is one of the better games, specifically just because it was so creative. It was a little different. It changed the setting, it tried to make things a little bit more realistic, a little bit more engaging, and again, it was pretty ahead of its time. Still, despite being ahead of its time, it's actually roughly 15 years old now. It released in 2008, and it feels even further away when you think about it now against the current context of Far Cry games. I mean, we're on Far Cry 6
if we're not basing it off of graphics,
and Far Cry 6 is a really, really different game from what Far Cry 2 was or was even trying to be. Still, it's got a special spot in some gamers' hearts.
I feel like Far Cry 4 was my favorite.
Next over at number 9, we have the original Portal. Yes, Portal is 15 years old. If anything, I actually feel like Portal was older than that, but yep, believe it or not, the first Portal released in October of 2007, and it was 16, an absolutely massive 15. Deal. Valve's kind of seemingly on the surface humble, very low-key puzzler style game with portals ended up being nothing short of mind-blowing, and people were absolutely obsessed from everything with this game. The design elements, the music, the sound effects, the style, the actual challenging puzzles themselves. Portal really absolutely blew up. And it has been 15 years since that happened. Of course, a couple of years later, we got Portal 2, but since then, nothing really. Little hints, little nuggets, little short things here and there, but never a full-fledged Portal sequel. At the very least, while there is no actual Portal 3, fans and the community have done a really good job making like fan kind of modded style new games that actually almost feel like genuine sequels to Portal. And I mean, we were just talking about some of them last year. So I mean, for the fact that since Portal kicked things off in 2007, now fast forward 15-ish years later to 2003, the Portal games, or really the concept of them, have some true staying power. Especially considering that first game, at least for me, it felt like it came out of nowhere. It's getting to the point where it's almost hard to remember back when it released, but yeah, it's been a while. Now, next over at number 8, we have Killzone 2, which, believe it or not, released February of 2009, and this game was the big
14 years.
PlayStation 3 thing for a long time. Do you remember the early trailers for this game? The big E3 reveals of gameplay trailers that definitely looked like pre-rendered cinematics, but they were kind of being passed off as gameplay. Things were a little blurry back then. If you were smart enough, you could probably realize it wasn't gameplay, but for me, as a younger person, I was blown away by some of those trailers. Still, when the final game finally released in 2009, it still turned out to be pretty sweet. It really kind of took the original Killzone and ran with it. It was a much better game. It was a much better playing shooter with some really cool environments, some dynamic
I'm guessing this
enemy
was before
encounters,
Call of Duty.
just good shit. Really
Kicked
cool
off.
lore, fearsome
think
enemies,
Call of
and a
Duty
really
probably had
interesting
the,
and unique tone that
just
you
the
don't really
campaign
see
and
in
single
other
player.
first-person shooter campaigns today. Of course, things would go even crazier with Killzone 3, but Killzone 2 was the one to really break through, where the original Killzone just kind of felt like a messy first-person PlayStation 2 game where like
First-person
things
shooter
weren't always really
mode.
figured out the greatest back then in terms of
Right,
first-person
you can't
shooters.
just say
Killzone
it, a
2
messy
really
first-person
locked
shooter
it
mode.
down and solidified Killzone as one of the good console first-person shooter
Did
single-player
that.
campaigns. I mean, if we're talking about Killzone 2 being 15 years old, let's just talk about how long it's been since we've had a decent freaking Killzone game. They're killing me with this. Next, over at number 7, we have Skate 2, which released in 2009.
Skate
It
2, I
wasn't
used to
too
play that
far
on the
off from
Xbox.
the original Skate, but we'll talk Skate 2 because it was awesome. I don't know about you guys, but Skate 3
Bro, I was
to me
playing
is
this
really
game
the
back in
definitive one.
2010.
But still, the fact that
And back
Skate
then
2
I thought it was
is
an
like
old game,
15
but it
years
was
old
it was
is
actually pretty
absolutely
new.
wild, because it's worth taking a look back at a time where there were just so many more extreme sports games. At this point, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games were kind of all over the place, but Skate was going pretty strong. And there's a reason why people are still clamoring for more Skate to this day. EA has said that they are making a new Skate game, and although we haven't seen too much of it, it does look pretty sweet. But man, the original Skate and Skate 2, to be honest, don't really feel like they're 15
I think
years
I was
old.
playing
mean,
Skate 2 when I was
visually
just
looks all right,
walking
and
through
it's
the
worth pointing
city.
out
I
that they
wasn't
just like
even
really cranked out
doing
3
anything.
Skate games in a pretty short period of time.
think it
But
was
it's a
either Skate
franchise where,
2
like,
or it
looking
was
back,
like
it
a
seems like
Tony
it's a
Hawk
newer
something.
franchise. It's actually getting pretty long in the teeth. Long in the tooth? I don't even really know what that phrase means, but I'm just saying it. It's old now. Next,
Very.
over at number 6, Crysis, believe it or not, is pretty old. It released
I don't
in
know what that
November
is.
2007. And
That's
actually going
actually
back
about
to that
16.
original game, not the remastered or like remade one, the original game, it's pretty rough, dude. It's nowhere near as fun as we remember it being. It looks okay still, but this is a game that, like that original version, now feels kind of old. But it's crazy to
I
think
think
about
GTA
because
5
at
is
the time it
eight years
released
old.
in 2007, November to be exact, this thing was on the
Well, maybe
cutting
it's
edge.
older-
We've
older
talked
than
so
that.
many times before
I'm thinking
about the meme of can it run
20,
Crysis and how everyone's
2015,
PCs really
but it might have
struggled
came
to
out in
handle
2013.
this beast of a game. This
me
beast that
look it
now,
up
in
on my
hindsight,
phone.
doesn't look that impressive, but still, sometimes if you catch it at the right light, or again, like the remastered, remade ones, it does still look really impressive. To think that that was
Yeah,
15 years
2013.
ago
So it's
is
10 years
really
old.
wild. While Crysis 1 had the visuals, Crysis 2 and 3 really ran with the whole gameplay
think
concepts.
2015
And it's
when I
funny that we're
actually
talking
turned
about
15,
Crysis being 15 years
which
old
was
because
when I
there
could
is
get
a
it.
Crysis 4 in the works. I mean, do we think we're going to see it in 2023? We don't know. We hope so.
I was over
but
there trying to
something
com-
is in the works, and we're curious to
watching
see
them videos
if it's
to,
going to feel as much of a
why
leap
kids
as
should
the
get
original
this
Crysis
game
was 15
back then,
long
just
years
to
ago.
try
Next,
to
over at number 5, the
persuade.
original Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl,
I just
released
ended up
in
getting
March
it,
of
with
2007.
nobody knowing,
This was a
off of
big
the
game,
PlayStation,
specifically for
'cause I got it
PC
digitally.
players, because it was kind of like a one-of-a-kind first-person shooter with good, solid survival
All you
horror
had
elements
to
in a
say
post-apocalyptic
was-
setting. The story
He said
was
it, but all he
completely
needs to say was
non-linear.
mode.
It had a
This
bunch
was
of
a
cool
first-person
RPG stuff
shooter
to it,
mode,
and it just
bro.
felt like good old-fashioned PC immersive sim gameplay, but with a dash of good old survival horror and post-apocalypticness. It was like just the perfect formula to really nail it and win the hearts of many PC players.
There was
But
a
it's been
game that's
so
just
long.
like that.
2007 was a long
Generator
time ago.
something.
Thankfully, these games
It's not
have
red.
continued to have a
It's
lot of life. a lot of legs.
Generator Zero?
Specifically, not only
Think that's
because
what
they're
it's called?
making a new game in the series, hopefully we're going to see this year or in 2024, but also because mods, like even just publishing this year, have made this game look absolutely incredible. I mean, check out this on screen here from YouTuber Sidorovich Jr. This is Stalker with mods that make it look absolutely insane. This is Stalker Anomaly, and it's in 4K with a bunch of mods, and it looks like something else. It really holds up, and the best part is that a lot of the gameplay elements, a lot of the RPG systems also still hold up to this day. If you've never played a Stalker game, but you're looking forward to the new one, and you're a PC player, even if you're new to PC gaming, you should jump into one of these, mods or not, because even though it's 15 years old, it's pretty damn cool.
Increase your profit and work less time with Kiddle, a genius new AI tool which is perfect for.
And next over at number 4, it's a little older than 15 years, but it's still worth giving props to Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 is very significant because it's a Half-Life game, and it's absolutely incredible, but also the fact that it was very ahead of its time with a lot of its physics systems. This game had so many objects that you could pick up and manipulate, and they all behaved and felt like real-world objects. A lot of this also translated over to puzzles, which involved you using these real-world objects to manipulate things and open a door or get access to something in the game. It was incredibly creative and really cool, and there was nothing else like it at the time, and to this day Half-Life 2 continues to kick ass. From modders to people putting it in VR, to people recreating it, to people changing it,
arguing
tweaking,
about
even building entirely new games from
Crazy,
it.
right?
Half-Life 2 has done a lot in more than 15 years. It's worth pointing out that, like, it released November of 2004, but it didn't just release and it was a great game and everyone played it and everybody loved it. No, this game continued to live and just kind of spread its tendrils throughout gaming and internet culture. And you love to see it because Gordon Freeman rules. End of story. Next over at number 3, we're pushing this one a little bit, but in 2009, we had Batman Arkham Asylum. Yeah,
yes,
Arkham
game.
Asylum, the original Batman Arkham game, is getting up there in years. It was a very interesting time for this game releasing because the past few Batman games before this just kind of felt like licensed crappy games. I mean, the Batman Begins game was okay, but really, Batman and comic book games didn't have a lot going for them, and then Arkham Asylum came out of nowhere and was absolutely incredible. The reviews were great, the hype was there, people ran out and got it, and it turned out the reviews were correct, the game was awesome, and it set the stage for the future of Batman games. And it influenced game design going forward. The combat system, the way it embraced Metroidvania stuff and kind of molded that into a Batman framework was just so cool, and so many other games and franchises tried to take that combat formula and apply it in new and interesting ways. And Rocksteady would go on and make a bunch of other awesome Batman Arkham games, and now who knows what they're doing next with the Suicide Squad game, but Batman Arkham Asylum, when that released, man, what a time. You just had to be there. The excitement, the anticipation for a new Batman game.
I hope the Suicide Squad doesn't feel like
a different look at the
Gotham Knights
character,
did.
and again with Kevin Conroy voicing, and for it to come out and actually be good was just so great. Next, over at number 2, we have Mirror's Edge, which released in 2008. It's a really long time ago, and it feels to me like this game just came out. Also,
I don't know what this game is.
Visually, it still holds up fairly well. Maybe not resolution-wise or like some things here and there, but I think it was just a testament to how the game was designed.
This must be like one of those BMX games where you're doing like
simple, that really helps it stand the test of time.
Not
Still,
BMX,
I mean,
but
man, the fact that it's like 15 years old is wild. And it's a shame that we haven't seen too much more from Mirror's Edge. I mean, I got the sequel, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, a couple of years later, but that was really it. If anything, the original Mirror's Edge, for its flaws and all, was incredibly revolutionary. Just a really cool concept, and just
why does it feel like a VR game?
Parkour, free-running gameplay.
Parkour, that's what I meant to say.
Now,
I don't know why I
in
said
2023, there are some games that maybe have done it better, but none of them really have that distinct, weird, cool feel that the original Mirror's Edge had. Now down to number 1, Grand Theft Auto 4, believe it or not, released April of 2008. this game has been around the block. And when you look at to this day, I mean, yeah, it's rough around the edges,
So,
but
GTA
15
5
years
came
old,
out
I
7
wouldn't
years
think that
after.
right off the bat, considering
So
the
it's
New York, or sorry, Liberty City they built up here, incredibly inspired by New York, is absolutely
So I'm
stunning
guessing
to see in motion still to this day.
GTA
From the
6
level
will
of
come out
detail to the creativity and
11
interpretation of
years
the
after.
different neighborhoods and vibes to the NPCs on the streets. Everything about this game was really ahead of its time. They were on overdrive when
I
they
wish I
built the
still
world
had
of
my
Liberty
Xbox.
City
I could
here.
have played
Then,
this
of course,
game.
the physics, characters getting shot, characters falling downstairs, the weight of Nico as he runs, jumps, climbs, all of that was way ahead of its time, and it's another game that went on to live for a long time. Modders and all types of creative people are keeping this game alive to this day and making it look better and better. It's absolutely downright stunning.
I thought they were
sometimes
going
when
to
modders
do
get
a
all the right
remaster
things
of this
going.
game.
Even though the Windows version is like really jacked up on a base level, people have done some great things. And
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto
that's why I
4
got
is
on here.
definitely gonna go
I
down in
actually
the history
deleted the
books
Rockstar
as one of the
so I
good
could,
ones.
like,
I mean, we're biased.
and,
We've talked so
help
many
my,
times before how
CPU
much we
run
love this
faster.
one specifically, but yeah. So those are some old ass games that we wanted to talk about today. I don't mean that old, like I mean no disrespect, but some surprisingly
No,
old games
they're really
today.
old.
And we want to
It's-
see how this works as a series. So let
Out
us
of
know
all
what
these
you
games, I think Arkham Asylum is the only game that you can actually go and play. Like, you can download the Batman Trilogy Remastered Pack and play. But other than that, all these other games, you can't play none of these games. Maybe Portal. Maybe. Also, I think... 1 second. Okay, I think that, Catalyst game, you might be able to play that. The new one they just came out with. But yeah, I was gonna say, I think most of these games are for PC. Outside of Batman and probably GTA, maybe. Well, it still might be. Other than Xbox, I don't see how you play GTA 4. Other than Xbox and PC. That's about it. Xbox, PC, and nothing else. Cause it ain't on PS4. It ain't on PS5 unless you would've. Let me see. Let's check something out.